Hey, Trekkies, welcome to the Budapest Fest show. Thank you so very much for showing up. Today, we'll be taking on the sprints. But before that, I just want to, go ahead and give a shout out to my guests here today. I do have Coach Minzy here with me, and of course, Fabian. They're on the show today, and they will be, diving into what is to come at trials with the women's 200 meters. Now, this is going to be hot, this is going to be spicy, and of course, we're going to give you everything what we think. Well, at least I'm going to give you everything what I think. And hopefully you all receive it well. Now, without further ado, welcome, Coach, and welcome, Fabian. Coach, of course, you all know, go head on over to Coach's desk and, of course, subscribe. Also, Fabian, what's your channel again?
Track Talk with Fabian.
Track Talk with Fabian. Also, head on over to Track Talk with Fabian and subscribe as well. Now, we're just going to jump straight in. You know how the thing go. This is a show. So, yeah, we just have to kick it off nice and sweet. All right, so trackies, those are the main men for Jamaica as we speak right now in the 200 meters. They are Rashid Dwyer, Demar Francis, and Antonio Watson. Now, trackies, the qualifying standard time for the 200 meters this season, because it keeps changing, I don't know why, but yeah, it's 20.16 seconds. So that's the target that the Jamaican men will have to meet in order to qualify for the World Championships. So it's not only just making top three trials, but also getting the qualifying standard. So far, Rashid Dwyer has run 20.40 seconds, Demar Francis has run 20.43 seconds, and Antonio Watson 20.49 seconds. That is how it looks right now. Coach, what are your thoughts, as it relates to what the Jamaican men have been doing so far? And, is there a possibility of us having three solid men in the 200 meters this season at trials? Can we see something, anything that's better than what we're seeing now?
Thank you for having me, T. Big up Fabian and the viewers and subscribers. For me, 200-meter, weak, weak. To be honest, Andrew Hudson would have been our brightest prospect, but I think he ran about two times this season. And those races that he ran would have been 100 meters. I've not seen him on the 200-meter scene, but he's one of our brightest prospect in the 200-meter. I am not certain if he's hurt or he's coming back from a niggle, but he would be one of our brightest. Rashid Dwyer, one of our old charges, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have been on an upward trajectory based off what he is doing this season. There was a big clash between himself and Antonio Watson. He beat Antonio Watson, but I think Antonio Watson defeated him the
I
last
flipped the script.
right the
Yeah.
last time that they ran at the quest to Budapest. So all in all, these gentlemen are putting in the work. I don't see. I think Johan Blake is also entered for that 200 meters. Not certain what sort of shape, because of course the qualifying standard is 20.16, and if you're not running sub 20 in 200 meters right now, it don't really make no sense to me.
You're not
Basically,
gonna win.
you're not gonna win. So I'm not looking for the 200-meter to be one of our main event this year, especially at the trials and going forward. I believe that some talents would have to emerge, or somebody would have to just come out and upset the apple cart. But for now, I don't see. I think Andrew Hudson is the man, but I'm not certain where he is at. I think he ran 10-0 or 10-1 this season. But
10-1-2, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
That was a good sign. That was his first race, I think. So that was a good
first
sign
race,
for what
right.
was to come.
But sometimes the demon of the sport, injury,
Yeah.
happen, and you just have to deal with it. It's just how they recover. Sometimes for me, if the athletes they put in a very good background work, injuries normally, even if they come, it will be easy
Hmm.
to get over. But we have not seen him, so I'm kind of worried where that is concerned. But I think he's the main man with
Okay.
Rashid Dwyer. But will they go below that qualifying standard? Is the next thing.
All right, next question then, coach. I know Fabian kind of jumped the gun yesterday and made mention of some 200 prospects as it relates to Antonio Watson this season,
Mm-hmm.
running 20.16 or faster.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, what do you make of, him possibly making the standard or running a PB? Even if you don't necessarily make the standard, can we expect some faster times from the guys?
Like I said, I think I said it yesterday too. Once 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't expect them to be running that fast. 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago's time will not equate to this week or next week time. So of
Mm-hmm.
course they will be going faster. So certainly you don't expect to see them running faster. Antonio Watson, I would love for him to concentrate on that 400 meters. For a first year athlete, in a major competition, for him to do the double, I've never seen Glenn Mills do that. So
Mm-hmm.
possibly they might just enter him just in case
As a backup. Okay.
as a backup. You know what I mean? So it I don't see him doing a double because the 4-2 double is a crazy double. But
Well,
if he takes it on the 200 meters, I think he's right there in the money. 20.1. It for right now where he is at, it's gonna be rough for him unless he can find that one. You know what I mean?
okay. Well,
So
I'm against the whole doubling thing based on my rant yesterday. Fabian, let me know what you think. You're the man that thinks that, he's definitely going to make that standard. So take a look at the guys and tell me, what can Jamaica do, if anything.
All right. Thanks for having me on your channel, T. But the 200-meter continues to be a sore spot for our sprinters. For Jamaica, the male sprinting has been a sore spot for us in recent times, especially in the 200, where we have our 200 males right now struggling to meet that qualifying mark. As it relates to Antonio Watson, it all comes down to what is the objective. Personally, I believe if the objective is to make that team to Budapest, he has an easier shot of making it in the 200 than the 400. Because in the 400, he will be going up against some real competition with the likes of Sean Bailey, with also Javan Francis, Demish Gay. You get what I'm saying? Rasheen McDonald, all those would be there to give him competition. While in the 200 meters, his probably only competition I see is Rashid Dwyer and maybe Hudson. So if he can run that 20.16, which I think he can run at 20.16, that would take him to Budapest. I don't think 20.16 is good enough to even get him out the first round. So it all comes down to objective. I personally believe I would give him the 400 to focus on, even though the 200 seems to be easier. But he has a better shot of making that 400 semi-final or final at World Champs. So I would give him the 400 and not let him double.
and let me interject there a little bit. Yes, Fabian. Well, you concluded that you'll give him the 400, but I think that
Yeah, I would.
He's fast. He's the second fastest in the field this season. So based off time, which is a judge in the in track in well, one of the judges in track and field, if we're going by what they have run so far, personal best, then who will basically be ahead of him? You understand? So That's why. But then again, you concluded that you'll allow him to run the 400. So
Yeah, it's just that the 400 coach.
beef in the conversation now.
You see, the 400 is about strategy, and on the day there's room for error in the 400 when you mess up your strategy, where you can have an athlete who came in with a slower time than you actually beat you, depending on what for instance, they might get a lane 8 and just run a blind out a lane 8, just run and say catch me and have enough to go home. So I think there's more room for error, and he'll be going against a more seasoned field in the 400. So that was my thinking as to say that maybe the 200 would be an easier road for him, but I would still put him in the 400. He can handle the pressure, and I think he's ready now to make that transition into the senior ranks.
Okay. Well, based on what both of you guys said, as it relates to Antonio Watson, whilst I do agree to a certain extent when you say the 200-meter field may, end up being easier, quote unquote, to make the team. Realistically, that 20.16 seconds looks a bit, off the pace this year. Maybe going into next season, because I'm really looking at it because I like what I'm seeing from him this year, but I'm thinking it's a little too soon in the 200 meters for him. And to me, it's pointless, to make this your main event, the 200 meters in question, and you're going nowhere. So for sure, again, the 400 meters is his lane right now, in my opinion. As it relates to what I've been seeing from the other guys, yes, Rashid Dwyer has been a stalwart for us in the 200 meters over the years. But yes, I'm gonna be a little tough. It's not enough. We need to see you starting to dip into that 20 second, below 20 seconds, and because that's the only way you're gonna factor, in my opinion, on the world stage in what's going on with the 200 meters this season. And yeah, the same goes for all of the other guys as well. You have to make your you have to drop your times. Damar Francis ran this PB this year. Lowering his time, it's a possibility. How much lower is the question. I don't know if it's enough to, challenge that 20.16. And even if it challenges it, this is probably just a first round berth at the World Championships. What I was thinking about, though, again, is Andrew Hudson. I spoke about him when it came to the Racers Grand Prix. I put the question out there: was he invited? Was he, invited to the Racers Grand Prix? This was our show, the time to show out our athletes. We've seen America do it where, they've had their best, at their meets. And I was looking out to see, what was going on with Andrew. But again, I heard no word. So my thought process was, I jumped on his social media, checked, didn't really see an issue that he was highlighting that he was going through. So in my opinion, I believe he's just holding his head down and training, and he's going to turn up for trials. And again, I agree with coach. He is our best bet, even though we haven't really seen anything from him this season over the 200 meters. Going off that 10.12 first race of the season, I was already calling it from back then that I was expecting a much faster Andrew Hudson this season based on that 10.12. So, barring any mishaps, any injuries, or anything that they're possibly going through, because we have seen quite a few athletes that, haven't really shown us anything, and we know they're coming to trials, and we know they're going to do something, right? So, in my opinion, I'm going to put him in that basket too and say he's coming, he's going to come and he's going to show out and, run times that I know he's capable of, and times that can challenge on the world scene. That's what I'm expecting from him. Something that I wanted to throw out there, though, I was wondering, why am I not seeing the 100-meter men double up into the 200 meters? That's my biggest thing right now. I know I've heard, that they want oblique to eventually, and I think Akeem, they've talked about, getting oblique's body ready, and so forth, Akeem as well. But I'm like, there are more people. I see a lot of people, hitting on that barrier to get sub 10. Why am I not seeing that kind of interest in the 200 meters as well? Transferring that speed there. I'm not really getting that vibe there. And yes, There's the ever-present Johan Blake as well that we have to look forward to. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in this event as well. Didn't really materialize for him last year. I liked what I saw in the heats. Don't know what happened in the finals, but Johan always turns up, so I'm hoping that he can do something well as well. And another last point that I want to make on this 200 meters is Akeem Bloomfield. Now, I know a lot of people are going to attack me over this. I genuinely believe that he's a better 200-meter runner than he's a 400-meter runner. The PBs, don't get me wrong, may say otherwise, but I believe that he's remaining fit, because I know he has had his injury issues, right? But remaining fit, focusing on that 200 meters, I believe wholesomely that he can do some real damage in that field. No, even more so, no. When I look at a 400-meter field with 25 guys, sub 26 this season, them are going to get left. Somebody are going to get left. A whole bunch of guys are going to get left. So at this particular point in time, we need to start diverting some of this energy, some of this extra speed someplace else, right? So if you have an extra talent someplace else, if you know you can, put up world-class times in this event, why not? And Akeem Bloomfield, for me, is one of those main guys. I'm hoping, I don't know if he has, because again, we've seen where Antonio Watson possibly has entered in two events, to have one as a backup. In my opinion, this should be the case for Akeem Bloomfield, where the 200 meter should be his backup. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, take it away from there.
Um,
I see coach disagreed.
no, he's not disagreeing. I'm just letting you know that I didn't see him enter in the 200 meters. It's just
Oh
for the
Lord, there
400
goes my
meters.
hopes.
You see, Akeem Bloomfield, I agree with you. However, he's one of those dangerous quarter milers that are very fast. And as a quarter
Facts.
miler, you want to have the speed as well. The speed endurance is good, but you see the speed, it is important.
Mm-hmm.
And Bloomfield, as a quarter miler, the man fast. So I think
Mm-hmm.
if he had stayed healthy, trust me, he would have been a world. Look, when he was at Auburn, you see the times when I put on in a 400 meters consistently, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people make some bad decisions and it really caused them not to get back that.
Slim back.
Yeah, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But for the 200 meters, yes, gentlemen, the coaches need to step out of the box. Don't let the athletes tell you nothing. One normally in the days gone by, Fabian, we know so once you're a 100-meter athlete, you're
Yeah, 200
supposed to
meter
do it
sprinter.
200
You
meter too.
understand?
Because a speed transfer. You get what I say? So I spoke to a coach recently and tell him, say, it's a good thing you do with the athlete, make him around the 1 2. That is building up his speed endurance. Look at Usain Bolt when he dropped the 200 meter one season. What happened to him? In 100
All
meter
right.
time, they never fast enough. So it is
Mm-hmm.
critical. It's like they correlate. Once you do the 100 meters, do some 200 meters. And if you see how quick your time improve in the 100 meters, and your 200-meter time might improve as well. So I don't know where this notion comes about now. Man just want to stick to 100 meters because they want to run sub 10. Put in some 200 meters and you see. If you notice, I think Akeem Blake did some 200 early season, I think probably one or two. And if he had done some
He started
more,
with 200, yeah.
yeah, man, if he had done some more, him would have been. But then again, I'm not going to question the coaches. I'm just throwing it out there that if I was coaching any of these athletes, they have to double. Yeah. And there might be reasons why they are not doubling, but I don't know. You understand? But
But
definitely, it is it is mind-boggling why these athletes aren't. You can understand, like, with how meticulous some coaches are. Stephen Francis, when he started out with Shelley, him now give her the double because him feel like she needs more development before she goes up to the doing the two rounds of the two events. Same thing
Not
with
to cut you, but I thought it was a burnout issue. Not to cut you, but I thought it was a burnout issue where they didn't want her doing too much, because we go into consistent world championships and performing well. It would be too much to do the double. I thought that was the story.
burnout. Hey, me not like the
You know, I'm
argument
just
about
asking because
burnout,
I always thought that was the story.
No, you see that
No.
burnout argument there, I think it is misunderstood. But me not get into that. But what I heard
Okay.
about Shelly, he want to progressively allow her to develop so that
Okay.
And it's
she can just get stronger while she does the 100 meter, and then she can make the transition. I think they had a well inside conversation. Them have a look at thing because she did want to do the 200 and it never happened. Him say no, you
Okay.
understand? But I believe once an athlete at the 100 meter, then supposed to can do the 200 meters. You know, see
I
Talu
agree.
run some bad 200 meter too.
why do you,
And
Mm-hmm.
why you
just
think
to
Talu
interject,
run so fast too?
why you think that's what I was just coming to. That is why Talu is running the 10-7 so consistently this year because she has been doing a lot of 200s. But I heard that same story for
Mm-hmm.
Akeem Blake and Seville that they're building them up to the 200. I heard this last
Mm-hmm.
year that the aim is to have them double at Olympics next year. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully both Akeem Blake and Oblique Seville they would be ready. Because
Mm-hmm.
a 200 program is no joking. And so what I'm assuming is that the coaches are building up their bodies to handle both the 100 and the 200. So, and normally what Glenn Mills does is that he gives them one event, one event for a few years, and then they add that second event. And that is why when I look at Akeem Blake and I look at Oblique Seville, I realize how high their ceiling is because they're doing one event. When they add that 200-meter
Yeah, the strength.
to
Mm-hmm.
their event list, they will be flying.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that the plan is for them to do that next year. I am hoping it comes to fruition because we desperately need some speed in that 200-meter lineup. We desperately need runners.
And even if it not come to fruition, Fabian, consistently doing the 200 meters, I can tell you, it will help their 100 meter
Mm-hmm.
sprinting. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
when you talk
I
about
agree.
top end speed, which is equating to the decelerating rate, the speed endurance I got kick in, I got chip in. You get what I say?
Yeah.
So it is important. I don't know why they shy away from it. But some people have a
So,
plan.
so of the current lot that we have now, the current situation that we're in now. Next year is next year. We have to leave that until then. What gonna happen with them people here next week? That's my question. We just have to sit down and hope and pray say Andrew turn up and run something good
What
and take shame off our face.
what can you do? He has to come out and test the waters. He have to
I
come
and
out and
Well,
also
put in a performance.
listen, I also believe 99 gets you in the final. If you're not running 99, you're not going in that finals.
I mean, at the Jamaica trials?
I
No,
didn't.
at World Champ. So
Oh,
if
oh.
you're just going
Oh,
just to make the World Champs team, as T would normally say, if you're going just to participate, it don't make no sense.
yeah. To
Like
me, that I mean,
just
well,
go to try and go deep. And right now, I don't see any of our males actually progressing far in the 200 meters.
They have to surprise me. But I
Yes,
don't see
they'll
it
have to
either.
surprise me, and I don't see it.
all right. Well, it's a sad fate right now. Andrew Hudson, if you're watching this, and I know, I know y'all athletes watch. So, Andrew Hudson, may I beg you say, you're good. Please turn up and show us what you got, because we're depending on you. I hate depending on one person. I've talked about it already. I hate the sole dependence on one athlete because all of that pressure. I remember with Asafa Powell, all of that pressure to go ahead and perform when you're the only person that is quote unquote of a certain caliber in an event. I don't want it to fall on one person's shoulder because the way Jamaicans put for an athlete is serious. So I don't want that to be the case. I'm always looking for multiple people so that everybody can carry the burden. You understand? Because when I sit down on my screen and I start waving and I say, come, 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 medal, 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 you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping though, for the best come next week with Andrew Hudson. But that's as far as I can see. Andrew Hudson, to me, if nobody else, which I'm not really seeing them get to that 20.16, they can surprise me, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm just gonna say, hopefully, Andrew appears out of nowhere and does what he does best, and we have one solid person. And maybe Akeem can think about the 200 meters in the future because, as coach said, he's fast. He is fast. I know he's fast. So maybe he can look into that into the future. Somebody in the comment section, I think, pointed out that remember where he started 1 and 2 before they moved him up to the 4 because of injury concerns. Now he's, man, strapping man. I'm hoping that his body, has acclimatized to speed at this point, and hopefully in the near future we can see something from Akeem. I'm holding that out. I'm gonna always hold out to that hope because I see a certain potential in him, and I'm hoping that he takes it up seriously one day. All right. So with that said, are there any further comments on the men's 200? All right. So with that said, we're gonna jump straight into the next event, which is obviously the final event because we're only taking two this night. All right, so there you saw it, trackies. Those are the fastest athletes so far registered this season for Jamaica. We have Kevona Davis, we have Natalia White, and of course we have Ashanti Moore. Now, of course, I didn't make mention of Sharika Jackson, which is the fastest overall, running 21.98 so far this season because she's already qualified and she's not going to run in that at the trials, which is a waste of time in my opinion. So why run it if you're already qualified, kind of thing. So with what we're looking at, Kevona, second fastest going into trials, Natalia White and Ashanti Moore. Then now you start thinking about a double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson Hera. This newly pristine Shelley over this 200 meter that is doing crazy things as well. In the 200 meter event. Brianna Williams, I'm not sure if she is entered. I'm hoping she is entered in the 200 meters. What say you guys in this event, this 200 meters event? Starting with you, Fabian.
All right, so the females consistently through history, our female sprinters have been bringing home the goods for us, and this is one event that we'll continue to do well in. Now, I'm going to be completely objective about this event. At trials, it should be interesting. Sharika will not compete in the 200 meters at trials. Shelly will be competing in the 200. Elaine will be competing in the 200. I don't know if Shelly is just going to use the 200 as training, or she wants to do the 200 at World Championships. I have no idea what the plan is as to why she's running the 200, because earlier in the season I heard that she would just be doing the 100 meters. Elaine Thompson, she hasn't looked like herself. The last 200 that she ran a few months ago, she ran 23, and she didn't look like herself. So we're left now with the youngsters. Kevona Davis looking really good. Ashanti Moore also looking good. Um, it's gonna be the youngsters there, Natalia White, but I want them to get closer to that 22 or sub 22, because it's going to be difficult for them at World Champs if they don't get to sub 22. Right now, there are only two persons in the world who have gone sub 22 this season, and that's Sharika and Julian Alfred. So I think that should be the aim for these. I really want to see what young Alana Reid will do in this 200 meters, because I think this 200 is her better event. I'm expecting her to do cause some damage in the 200. And Brianna Liston, I don't think she had a very good year um at the NCAAs, but I think she has it in her. So I'm really looking forward to see what Brianna Liston, Alana Reid, how they will go up against Kevona Davis, Ashanti Moore, Shelly Ann Fraser, and Elaine Thompson at trials in the 200 meters.
What about Kimba? I noticed you made mention of, most of the girls that we're looking forward to see, quote unquote, in the 100, in the 200. Is there any hope for Kimba?
No, I don't. Kemba had injury problems in the early part of the season. I don't think she'll be doing the 200. Also, I think the same thing for Brianna Williams. I think that's the reason why they're not. I don't think they're ready for the 1-2 double yet. That's why they're just focusing on the one this year.
Okay, all right. So, coach, you take it away. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
man.
hold 1 second. Fabian, you didn't tell me who you think is possibly going. Remember, say trials is, a leading to trials.
Who
I
is
want to take the
going?
three spot them.
Who is going? All right. Shelly and Fraser Price. Kevona Davis and Alana Reed.
So says
That
Fabian. Coach,
that's my
your
opinion.
turn. Let me know what you think.
All right.
Youngster's turn.
Yes. Kemba and Brianna won't be running. Based on what I've seen, they have not entered in the 200 meters.
Okay.
Brianna Liston, she'll be running with the juniors. I don't think she'll be contesting the seniors. Um,
Oh.
so I have a little bias again in this event. Ashanti Moore, Natalia White. But of course, again, I'm gonna be as objective as possible. And not a big bias though. Shelley and Fraser Price, I don't know that. But so three there for me. But it's kind of difficult for me, to really predict this one. But let the feelings go aside and let's talk it as it is. Um I think Shelley is going to be using it as a precursor. However, if she gets something good from it, I believe that they're going to contemplate doing the double. Shelly is not as bougie and young as she used to be. Of course, she has that little niggle and that has hampered her early season. It's good that the World Championship um is a little bit later this year, as she would not have any much time to really maneuver herself, right? So it's good to see her opening with a 200 meters. I think she's just using it as like I said, a precursor. If she does well and put in a stupendous performance, I believe that they are going to possibly consider her doing the double. But that is yet to see. Um, Ashanti Moore, she has been running the 1-2 this season, pretty consistent. I think she has found a new lease on life since she has left Shawnee Miller's club, where that's Lance Brahman. She's at a different club. I think she has found new lease on life. I think she's enjoying whatever she's doing now. She's running faster. She has been consistent in terms of equaling her PB, running 10-1 consistently. 11-1, sorry. Um, she has a PB also in the 200 meters. I think it's 22.4, 3 thereabout. Um, so she could be right in the mix. Now, Kevona Davis has had a very good season. You could say it's her breakout season since being at Longhorn, right? I guess she's preparing to get out of the shadows of someone who she used to whip at champs, yeah, and that's Julian Alfred. So with her doing this season again, I have a challenge with the NC2A athletes. They don't have the luxury of going on the circuit like a Marie Jose Talu to do well. She probably don't have a trial, but to keep sharp competitively, I don't think they have that luxury. And that might be their challenge coming into the season. But she's young, youthful exuberance might kick in. I think she has a very good shot. Natalia White is only entered for the 200 meters. So when Ashanti go to the 1-2 and go in those big field, Kevona Davis the same. They have the 200 meters to go. Natalia would be fresh, but will that freshness help her? Because those other athletes would have been basically warm up already, put in some mileage under the legs. So it's a whole lot of dynamics to look into. Natalia with a 22.3 thus far this season. I think she's going for the 200 meters. I think she's one of the better 200-meter runners for Jamaica. Every time I see her go around that turn, she reminds me of Merlin Joyce Otti. Similar sort of a running style. So if she gets it right since that 22.3 and her camp, she's also in a new camp, gets it right, putting in the final touches for the trials, then certainly we can expect her to be on the plane. Elaine Thompson era, very tough season for her. I don't know if it is jerk season or home season or what sort of season, but she has been having a very tough time in training. She came out and she spoke about it. I empathize with her, but I believe that she is a seasoned veteran. And again, I don't know which season, but she has to come out. A lot of people want to see Elaine fail. A lot of people believe that the decision that she made, hey, it was a business decision. She should have, she could have. But at the end of the day, the athletes have to live with themselves and have to live with their decision. I think she has to do that. With what she said on the time that she came out and run at the Budapest meet, Quest to Budapest, I think it is she still has from then till until now, she still have probably another 5 days to sharpen up to get things into perspective. I think though, I believe she, based off her not being able to train and do all of these things, her best shot would be for the 100 meters. I believe she will struggle in this 200 meters. Yes, I said it. I think she's gonna struggle in the 200 meters. And some of these young guns that are coming out, like Fabian said, Alana Reed, she has a PB of 22.95. She will be coming. She's hungry. She ran a race in China, I think, a few days ago. First race as a pro athlete, and she did like 11.1. So she has been consistently running in that region. I mean, it's gonna be a very tough 200-meter field, and I will plead the fifth, and I will not call this one because anybody show up on the day in that final, and of course, you have to progressively advance through the rounds. I do believe that it is the person, the individual.
I was asking if it was still 2 rounds. Or is it more now that we have more participants?
If you have more participants, you're gonna be getting that 3 round, and
Oh, okay.
there you might have the challenge. So I don't know. I plead the fifth in this one. I don't know.
All right. All right. All
Something
right.
like
All
this.
right.
Me really unsure. Me not go on it. When the trial start, I might have a different preview on it. But right now,
Yeah.
it's difficult to call.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Based on what I'm seeing so far with the girls that are currently ranked, from a Jamaican perspective, I can definitely see why it's hard to call a top three from that. However, first and foremost, I just want to put this out there. So the qualifying standard time is 20.60 seconds.
Everybody would have done that.
Realistically, how many of the other athletes, save, a Natalia White and a Kevona Davis and an Ashanti Moore, will be able to dip below that 20.60 seconds? I'm gonna
They
have
have
the
done it
same thought
before.
process I have.
They have done it. All
No,
of those
I
names
said
that you
save them. No,
mentioned.
I said save them. So
Okay,
they're
okay,
out
okay.
of it, right? So I'm saying how many of the other ones
Others,
will be
okay.
able to dip below that 20.60? I'm gonna have the same thought
22,
process I
22.
have. 22 points, sorry, 60. I'm gonna have the same thought process I have when I'm discussing the men. Um, I understand and I appreciate seeing the youngsters come up in the event. But again, this is a world championship, right? So me being excited for you, running a personal best, entering a senior event is one thing. Going to represent the country in a 200 meters on the world scene is another thing. And I'm separating the two. So yes, I appreciate seeing these youngsters come up, and I appreciate seeing them run fast times. From the Alana Reed, I'm seeing somebody in the comment section mention, oh, don't forget Tina Clayton. She's also
Yeah,
entered,
yeah.
right? I'm sure she's also going to be coming with a personal best. But to be honest, I'm not calling any of them into that 200 meters, because again, you have to run sub 22.6. You have to run below that. Your personal bests are, half a second off that, in relation to maybe an Alana Reed. And then Tina is, much further on in that 200. So no, I'm not necessarily considering them. They can come out, they can run PBs, no problem. I'm going to enjoy seeing that actually, because I know they'll be there for the future. But in the present moment, I'm not really considering them per se. So I'm not considering Alana, I'm not considering Tina. Who are the other young guns in this race?
Alana will
I'm not
surprise you.
considering. Who will surprise me?
Alana.
Alana is
And
gonna
and this
surprise
is,
me.
yes, and this is my reason. Alana, Alana's fastest time this year was at champs, right? 22.96. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't go all out in that 200 meters. It was pretty evident that she wasn't trying to run in that 200 meters, and she can go much faster in that 200 meters. She went all out in the
Fabian,
100 and
I
ran
agree. I
10.9.
agree 100%. I don't know if you all know. I did a video on Alana Reid at Champs when she ran that 10.92. I pointed it out and I said, trackies, do not forget, Alana is actually better at the 200 meters. When she was running the year before and she ran that 22.96, and I made reference
Mm-hmm.
to what her PB in the 100 meter was at the time, which was 11.2, maybe 3, I think, or around that range. I said, can you imagine what that 200 meters is going to become? Now it didn't materialize at Champs, which I understand, but I still do believe her 200 meters is better. But I'm just saying, realistically, when we're talking about now top three for the team, right? I am not seeing her drop it that drastically to, maybe out jump a Kevona, or maybe a Natalia White, or a Ashanti Moore. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she's not going to run a PB. I'm not saying she's not absolutely fantastic over the 200 meters. I'm just saying that as it stands right now, I'm not going to be calling these young guns. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them for the future, but I'm not looking at them for right now. Right. So who does that leave me with? It leaves me with Ashanti. It leaves me with Kevona. It leaves me with Natalia. Then of course there's Shelly and Fraser Price. We haven't seen anything from her this season. But if we know anything about Shelly, we know she's turning up. That's for sure. So there's Shelly, and then of course there's Elaine Thompson that hasn't really impressed so far in the season. How am I looking at it? All right, I've been talking about this for a while, and I've been saying Kevona, I'm calling her a sure spot in the team. This was prior to knowing or confirming. Was it prior to? Or I always thought Shelly was going to run it. No, I always thought Shelly was going to run the 200. So I always called, this was my top three. My top three was always Elaine, Shelly, and Kevona, right? My I'm still holding that top three. Why am I still holding that top three? Because I'm a little biased when it comes to Elaine. No, okay, no, that's not the real reason. I looked at her in her warm up. I looked at her in her warm up in that 100 meters race, and I thought to myself, she can definitely give me a sub 10. It won't be like no crazy sub 10, but she can definitely give me a sub 10. That's what I was thinking, right? However, it ended up being an 11-2 race. But there's a stark contrast between what I saw in the warm up and what I saw in the race. It to me, it just felt like she was just there running and not really doing anything much. That was the vibe I got in that 100 meters. So I'm holding out hope I'm holding out hope that Elaine Thompson Hera can come with something because at the end of the day, even if she comes with a toops of what she's used to, this is still a woman that has run 21.53, right? So if she comes with maybe a 22, 2-ish, 1-ish, for sure, and I'm just gonna say maybe a 2-ish, right? If she can come with a 22-2,
Yeah, but
for sure.
remember,
Hold
you
on, let
know.
me finish this point before
No
you cut
man,
me off because me know it's not ready for me.
no,
Me know it's not ready
me
for me.
can't make you finish it. Honestly, you're so but sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
a pure bias in that.
based off listen, yes, when an athlete not do them background training, and it was evident in that first 200 that she did
Oh my gosh. Look here, make me
22-2.
done my point. On a naga, make me change my point.
No, I'm not saying that you should change it, but you have to be well. Anyways,
So again, that's what I'm saying. As long as she can come in at a 21-2 shape, I don't see
21 to a world record, you know.
no, what did I say? 22-2, I mean, sorry. A 22-2 shape, she can possibly get onto that team. So I'm still holding that top three. However, I do acknowledge that Ashanti Moore has been having the season of her life. So I'm expecting her to be faster coming to trials. And I'm also expecting Natalia White to be faster coming into trials. They're both at 22-4s right now. So in my opinion, there are 5 athletes. If I'm not counting wrong, let me see. Elaine, Shelley, Kevona, Natalia, and Ashanti. Right. There are 5 athletes in that 200 meters that, for me, 3 of them are going to take the spot out of that 5. That's my take. Yes, I'm saying my 3, but in all honesty, if a Natalia White makes it in or an Ashanti Moore makes it in, I would not be surprised. Right? Because clearly they're on that trajectory and they're on that path. So let's see what happens come trials. But I have 5 solid athletes right now that I'm looking at. I don't really see any outside surprises because again, everybody's going to have to drop their personal best significantly, and I appreciate that a lot of them are juniors, so dropping their personal best down, much lower is impressive, but I don't think it is impressive enough to make the 200 meters team if we're also expecting Kevona to turn up. Remember, she ran that 22:05, barely above the allowable wind, right? So she's clearly in great shape. And then when we take into consideration what possibly Natalia can do, I'm expecting at least also a 22-2 from both Ashanti and Natalia. Can the other girls, let's say an Alana, is Alana going to be running a 22-2? I would be shocked. I'm not going to tell you no lie, Fabian, if I go come scrape me up off of my floor if if Alana runs a 22-2. I expect a personal best, but I'm not expecting it that drastic.
She
So
running at
yeah, that's
22-1.
what?
Yep,
Just
that's
remember,
my
I just
prediction.
remember you said you had Alana making the team. I forgot.
22-1 Alana running.
I forgot. All right, so that's my take. Come on, rip me apart now because I know y'all have been waiting.
No, I mean, you see, I'm not gonna be scared like Coach Minzy, don't go on the limb. I live on the limb. So I think Alan has enough to run to make that tour. It's that for me that 200 meter team easy to make. And I know um you love Alien, you have a certain bias for Alien, but seeing what I have
well,
seen
left
this
Fabian,
season,
if you notice when me say me have 3 biases in a race, and me say me I go put that aside. But you know, put
I
it
was still
aside.
very objective. Don't look here. I was very objective in my
Where?
analysis. Don't say that. I was.
hey,
Even when
see,
even when I
I,
include my Elaine tidbits, I was still very objective.
I am praying. I am praying for Alien because she's one of our best 200 meter runners. However, you see that 23.23 that she ran this season and that 400 meter hurdler run her down and pass her, she short on background work. Even a short on background work, 200 meter go show you. And remember, she ran a 400 meter at stadium, and she run out and go so 300 and dead going home. Normally, she's stronger going home in the 400. So that tells us that she is short of something. I really hope a miracle happen in these 14 days that she has leading up to trials from that meet at JC. However, it's looking really dark for her in the 200. I think if she's going to spring a surprise, it would have to be in the 100. The 200 meet, I think she will struggle in the 200, and that is why I think Alana will have an open shot. If I was the coach of Alana, I would pull her from the 100 and put her in the 200 because the 200 I think that Alana is better at the 200. Yes, Alana's PB is 10.9, but I don't think 10.9 gets you on that plane in the 100 meters.
Yeah, but you spoke of opportunities yesterday. You and Coach Minzy take me on few opportunities yesterday. Wouldn't the 100 meters be better from an opportunity perspective? Because making that finals guarantees you a spot on the relay team per se. In turn, we don't know say Jamaica are gonna medal in the 4x1. I don't care what nobody wants to say that the button not drop ever, right? So we are gonna get one medal. It's just the color, right? So Alana Reid at 18 can be a world whatever medalist. So who is going to give up that 100 meters based on y'all standards that y'all gave me yesterday?
I don't
All right, so
agree
the
with
100,
Fabian, you know. I
the,
don't agree with him.
the, the 100 is a different dynamic because it's not like they have a mixed 4x1. You get what I'm saying? So it's not a case where they're going to take all eight, and then a lot of times they're going to look to 200-meter runners just the same to supplement that 4x1 pool. But for me, I have some. This is my crazy prediction. Every year I have a crazy one, and this is my crazy prediction. Last year my crazy prediction um was a Shelly beating Ilian. That was my crazy prediction last year. This year, my crazy prediction is with Alana making that team in the 200 meters. Yes, she has a 10.9 PB in the 100. Yes, I think the 100 might be easier, but I don't think 10.9 gets her in the 100 in the 100 meter at all. She would have to PB again, run 10.9 low to make that 100-meter team. A lot of persons I think will be springing a surprise in the 100. So I think her best chance is to run that low 22 in the 200. And that is my crazy person prediction as it relates to Ilian. I hope Ilian can drop to sub 11 by Friday. I hope she can drop to sub 11 by Friday or she's in big trouble.
Chuck is just not to cut Fabian, but just to let you all know, I see a whole bunch of you in here. 148, or is it 146? 146. Please hit the like on the stream. You know, I never really remember to say these things, but I'm looking at it now and I'm seeing that y'all are not hitting the like. So hit that like button. That's how the video gets pushed on YouTube. So hit the like button. Don't hesitate. All right, so coach, I know you've been waiting with bated breath to rip my my elated bit apart because you said I was, even though I had my bias, I wasn't objective enough. I definitely believe I was 100% objective. Even if you scratch Elaine, everything else I said still holds merit in my opinion. So, with that said, coach.
No, I'm not here to dissect whatever he said. It's just that a lesson that I've learned involving coaching. And I said it earlier, you know, about athletes who are injured. Once their background work is good, it is easy to prepare them or get them ready when they sustain an injury, right? No, Elaine would have gotten her injuries while in background, so it would have hampered her to train and train consistently because she made mention of 3 injuries, and it was so bad that she wanted to call this season quits. No, she went on the circuit and she ran a 200 meter, and Melissa Jefferson run past Ilian 23 for a 21 sprinter. To open with that, it tells me that she's losing a little bit of speed endurance because up to 150, that's Elaine. And hence the reason I say she has a better shot at the 100 meters rather than the 200 meters. And remember, Ilian would have been one of their best 200 meters runners ever. And she are one of the best 100-meter runners ever. So, with that said, that's why I'm saying it's gonna be very difficult. I did not say she's not gonna make it, but her chances are slim in the 200 meters as opposed to the 100 meters, because it tells me based off what she did in the 100 meters, based off what she did in that early season, based off what she said about injuries. I have to deduce from what she said and what I have seen, and it tells me that Elaine will struggle more in the 200 meters. She has a better shot at the 100 meters. Elaine would have been, you see, when it comes to execution of the 100 meters, she has that, and she probably made least mistakes than the younger athletes, right? But when it comes to the 200 meters, they can make mistakes, but once them have the speed endurance, they will catch up back. Elaine, I don't think have that. So I would love for her to make it as one of her top caliber athletes. But for the 200 meters, I'm seeing the light flickering.
All right, I'm gonna be Fabian and live on a limb and and keep Elaine.
No, I'm not saying to take
No,
her now, but
I really appreciate everything that you're
I'm
saying,
giving
coach.
I'm
Don't get me
giving
wrong. But
objective
yeah,
analysis and from a
I
coach's
know,
standpoint as
I
well.
know. For sure, I know. I appreciate it. And everything that you're saying is 100% plausible as well. However, again, I'm gonna live on the limb. Pretty similar to how Fabian sees Alana running 22.1. Can't really see it, but he's on that lane, so I'm gonna see Elaine next week in both the 100 and the 200. So let's see what happens. But anyway, oh, you know what? A point. I think I saw this someplace. I don't know. I don't remember who was making mention of it. Maybe somebody in my comment section once they were saying something about using the races to get sharp. Is it possible that she can use those 100-meter races to possibly get better come for the 200? Or it's just a no-no.
For me, no. It's background. Once you miss the background work,
It's not gonna happen. All right.
mm-mm. Background sets
All
the
right. So,
background sets the standard for your entire season. If you have a very good background, then your season will be very good.
all right. Okay. 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 So, the show is coming to an end. We have a few minutes. So, is there any final thoughts? We have the men's 200 meters and the women's 200 meters coming up next week at trials. Any final thoughts as it relates to your expectations or your hopes for the events?
All right, for me, my eyes will be on the 200 meters for women. I'm not expecting a lot from the men. It might be an exciting race to see who crosses the line first. As it relates to time, the time might not be as exciting. Um, for the females, it should be interesting to see all these persons there who I think are on the edge of breaking into that category. So it should be interesting for the female. I really want to see what Elaine is up to. I really want to see what Shelly is up to also, and then I want to see what the youngsters what they're up to. So the 200 meters again, sore spot for me. I don't think we're gonna get another 1, 2, 3 for now in the 200 meters. But again, thanks Steve for having me on the channel. Remember, people, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and next week is trials. Make sure you get a ticket to go to the stadium to see the athletes. Support our athletes. Support our athletes. All right. I keep saying that, support our athletes. All right, and that's my 2 cents or $2.
All right, Fabian, I appreciate you coming on for sure. Coach, what are your final thoughts?
I just want to see some fast running. I just want to see the best athletes make it to the Budapest World Championship, represent the country, and do well. But the first hurdle for them will be next week. Are they mentally ready and prepared to take on this? So it's not only the physical preparation, but mentally, are they ready? Well, we will definitely see who will crack under the pressure. It's gonna be very mouth-watering and interesting. See you there. T, thanks to for having me. Fabian, big up yourself. All the viewers and
All right,
subscribers,
thanks
big
so
up on
much,
yourself.
Coach, for coming. Yes, Trackies, hit that like button, of course. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I'll just echo sentiments from both my guests here, Coach Dex and Fabian. Just looking for the best next week from both sets. May the best man or woman win. And see who represents the country. Again, I always say whoever makes it, I'll definitely be supporting 100%. So I'm looking forward to that. Track is we will be on Coach's decks tomorrow, Coach, correct? Tackling another set of events that will be on show at trial. So definitely look out for that. With that said, I really appreciate you guys coming out and taking part and being a part of the show. It's a new show and I like what I see happening with it. I appreciate it. With that said, don't forget, like the video, subscribe. Track is, mwah, peace out.